When it comes to trading, we get so obsessed with charts, with strategies, with indicators. But what if the biggest variable, the one that actually decides if you win or lose, isn't on the screen at all? In this explainer, we're diving into the real battleground, the one that's raging inside your own head.
Let's just start right here. This single idea. It's the foundation for everything we're about to get into. It's that moment of clarity, or hey, maybe even terror, that every single trader has to face at some point. The problem isn't the chart, it's the person staring back from it.
All right, so Section 1, the enemy in the mirror. Look, before you can fight any battle, you've got to know who you're up against, right? So let's really dig in and see who this enemy is, and more importantly, what it feels like when they're in the driver's seat.
I bet this is going to sound familiar to a lot of you. It's that dead, hollow pause right after your third straight loss. Your chest gets tight, you're clenching your jaw, maybe your hands are even shaking a little, but you tell yourself, no, I'm just focused. And then the poison creeps in. That single green candle that just whispers, hey, one more trade, you can fix all of this. It's not a thought, it's a physical thing.
And what's our first instinct in that moment? We blame everything else, right? Oh, it's my strategy, the indicators are lagging, the market's just being crazy. But what the source material points out is that the real breakdown, it's not in our charts, it's inside us. Our own nervous system is short-circuiting, and our perception of reality is getting totally warped.
And this right here, this is the core idea of what's called the third mirror. I mean, think about it for a second. If you're playing a sport, you can blame a bad call from the ref, right, or the weather. If you're playing poker, you can blame a bad run of cards. But in trading? There is nowhere to hide. There are no teammates, no excuses. It is just you and your decisions staring you right in the face.
And that's why this concept is so powerful. Trading doesn't build character. No, the source material is pretty clear on this. It reveals it. It just rips the mask right off and forces you to meet the version of yourself you are when everything, and I mean everything, is on the line. Okay, Section 2, when real money bleeds. So this whole internal battle we're talking about, it gets turned up to 11 by one single critical factor. Let's talk about that giant psychological canyon between trading on a demo account and trading with your own real money.
This is why there's such a huge difference, isn't there? On a demo account, you're a rock star. You're logical, you're detached, you're analytical. But the second real money is at stake, that whole identity just shatters. Suddenly, you feel like you're being hunted, you're emotional, you feel threatened, your own heartbeat becomes part of the chart.
So here's the absolute key. A real loss, it just feels different. It stops being a number on a screen, a simple data point, and it becomes a personal attack. It's a threat, not just to your bank account, but to your very identity as a smart, capable person.
And here's a really powerful way to think about it. Demo trading is safe, right? It never questions who you are. But live trading, man, it puts a knife right to your ego and says, are you sure you're supposed to be here? Are you actually good enough for this? That is a question a $500 demo loss is never ever going to ask you.
All right, Section 3, the screw it trade. All this pressure, this constant threat to our identity, it all leads to a breaking point, a moment of pure self-sabotage that I think pretty much every trader will recognize.
Okay, and this is so important to get. This screw it trade. It isn't born out of rage or greed. It's born from pure emotional exhaustion. You've been fighting yourself for so long that you don't even care about winning anymore. You just want the pain, the anxiety, all that discomfort. You just want it to stop.
And this feeling, it leads to this vicious cycle that the source calls the misery loop. It goes like this. Step 1, it all starts with that fatigue. Step 2, that fatigue leads to an impulsive, I'm breaking all my rules kind of trade. Step 3, this brings on instant panic. Step 4, then something weird happens. You feel a strange sense of relief just because the internal fight is finally over. And then Step 5, the shame sets in, which of course just fuels the fatigue for the next time around the loop.
And here's the absolute kicker. This is not a willpower problem. You can't just be more disciplined and fix this. By the time you're in this state of total emotional burnout, your discipline, your willpower, it's already gone. It's completely drained. It's way too late for that.
Okay, Section 4, your psychological map. So yeah, that's the problem. It's a pretty bleak picture, I know, but there is a way out. The source gives us an escape route that has nothing to do with charts and everything to do with building a totally new kind of map.
So how do you escape this thing? Well, it's not with another indicator.
It's not with another strategy, and it's definitely not with another guru on YouTube. The way out, it's internal.
The tool that's proposed is something called a psychological map. And the idea behind it is super simple. You cannot fix a pattern that you can't see. So the goal isn't to crush your emotions. That's impossible. The goal is just to observe them without judging them. That one simple act creates distance. It turns you from the person who's drowning in the emotion to the person watching calmly from the shore.
So here's the assignment, and it's incredibly simple. Seriously. 1, before you even think about your next trade, just take out a blank page. 2, write down what you feel, not what you think you should feel. Be brutally honest. I feel terrified. I'm being greedy right now. I am desperate to make back yesterday's loss. And 3, just by getting that feeling out of your head and onto the paper, you switch from being its prisoner to being its observer. You take back the control.
Okay, Section 5, Becoming the New Trader. So what's the real point of all this work? What's the end goal? Well, it's about way more than just avoiding a few bad trades. It's about a complete transformation. It's about the death of the old you and the birth of a totally new kind of trader.
This really says it all. You don't fix your trading by fixing your strategy. You fix your trading by fixing your relationship with discomfort.
And when you do this, when you really get this, everything changes. Pain becomes just information. It doesn't control your decisions anymore. A drawdown is just a statistic. It doesn't have any power over your self-worth. You start to trade like a cold, detached operator, but you think with the resilience of a true survivor. So, I'm going to leave you with this final question from the source material. Be honest with yourself. Have you ever blamed your system or your indicators or the market, all while knowing deep down that the real problem was staring right back at you in the mirror? Because the answer to that question, well, that's where the real